And welcome back to Let's Play RimWorld. This is Alpha 16, and you might notice that maybe something will feel a little bit off with this episode today, and maybe I'm not going to be following like exactly what is happening on screen, maybe quite as much as you might expect, and that is because I did do a live recording for this video, but unfortunately I kind of forgot to save it. So yeah, that recording is completely lost to me. I cannot get it back. So I am in fact commenting here in post. I did think about maybe like not putting this episode up, but I decided for continuity's sake I did want to get it up. Yeah, so I'm commenting here in post, but you know, I think that's going to be okay. I think what I might do is just generally use this as a bit of an opportunity just to talk about RimWorld in general. And about how I feel this game is going. Now, a few of you did leave comments on the video asking to be renamed after colonists, so I will get that happening. What I think I will do, I'll probably rename Baffin after one of you guys, and then I think the rest of them, I've kind of gotten used to calling them by their current names, so that might confuse me a little bit if I change those guys. So what I'll do, I'll rename Baffin, and then any new people that we recruit after that, we will get renamed. You can see here I am getting rid of a bit of this stone, so I'm just really cutting that out to make a little bit more space in here. Because I do want to start expanding some of the things that we have inside of our actual base here. In that little area there, we're going to put a large crafting room. So yeah, that's something that I think I've talked about, and we need to get that up and happening. We are adding some more block production here as well, so we will need that to be able to do extra construction in the base. These slate blocks, we will be using these to do those paths that I've mapped out. So we'll get those up and going. And yeah, I am here increasing all of our block quantities up to 1,000. Yeah, we've been pretty lucky with all of our colonists. Like I've mentioned Vlad, how his mood really hasn't been as poor as perhaps I was expecting, with him being greedy and stuff. Definitely it's helped that he's in a relationship now. Yeah, so we've been pretty lucky with him, and also with Dicta, who is our pyromaniac, of course. And he hasn't as yet felt the urge to set anything on fire. So, you know, hopefully we can get a few more of our wooden walls replaced before he decides to start burning things down. We have got a decent amount of stuff built in stone initially anyway, so we're a little bit future-proofed in that way. It looks like Baffin there has a little bit of hypothermia. Just initial, like, I'm shivering, I'm cold type stuff, but yeah, that could lead to more problems. Well, it's negative 20 outdoors at the moment, so that's significantly cold. Yeah, one of the things with colonists, you can see we have that little blue parka in our stockpile there. I don't think that's a dead man's parka. Maybe it is. We do have more parkas on the way. But yeah, one of the things with the way colonists dress themselves is they don't take temperature into account when dressing. So some people, or you have to keep an eye on your colonists in the winter, because occasionally they'll dress in stuff that will basically result in them freezing to death. So, well, they're not going to freeze to death, but they're going to go outside, they're going to get cold, and then they're going to run inside and basically seek a safe temperature. So they'll be very inefficient in their work that way, and that they'll continue to run inside. And also, when you do have hypothermia, your general effectiveness is slowed. Like, I don't know if you move slower, but you definitely work slower. You have like reduced consciousness and things. That's one of the playoffs between using parkas or not using parkas. So if someone has a parka on, they automatically have their global work speed reduced by, I believe it's 30%, just because they're wearing like big, heavy clothing. Dictor's on a smoke leaf binge. He's chemically fascinated, so he's going to do that. Yeah, so it's a bit of a playoff between like, okay, if I'm going to wear a parka, I'm going to work slower. But at the same time, if I don't wear a parka, you know, maybe I'm going to start getting hypothermia. There's potential health issues there. And then when I do have hypothermia, I'm going to work slower anyway. So, you know, maybe you might as well just work a little bit slower with having the parka on and not have any sort of temperature, health-related issues. Yeah. But the thing that... Oh, okay, so what I'm doing here... Yeah, you can see I'm putting some animal sleeping spots inside because I just checked the minimum comfortable temperature for our Labradors, and they can only withstand a negative 14. So they can only they're only comfortable in up to negative 14. So if they're sleeping outside here, where, you know, the temperature is starting to drop a bit now that, so it's 9 o'clock, we're heading into the evening. Yeah, now that the temperature's starting to drop a bit, if they sleep out in this, there's, again, potential problems there for them getting hypothermia and getting frostbite, you know, which is obviously not something we want to happen. One of our hunters lacks a ranged weapon. It's probably not an actual hunter, it's just Baffin who we maybe want to have a gun. Yeah, but so the way people choose to dress themselves is all that they take into account is, I think it's like the quality of the item. So if there's like a superior quality jacket or a good quality parka, they will always choose the jacket regardless of temperature. So the jacket may result in them getting hypothermia, but they'll still take it because it's better quality than the parka. And I did just see, I think it was Vlad going and putting one of our parkas on, so that is good. Looks like we've got at least 2 parkas in storage, and Wolf there is getting a third one going for us. Very nice. A few of the things that I want to put inside of our base. So I did mention the crafting room, which I think looks like I'm getting ready to plan that out where I want to put that. Yeah, so the crafting room. And then another thing that I want to do in the not too distant future as well, so probably around the same priority as a crafting room, is going to be making a prison. So I want to have somewhere to put our prisoners rather than just, you know, converting our colonist beds into prisoner beds. Even though we have a few spare beds at the moment, so that's not the worst. But definitely expanding, getting more colonists is something we're going to be doing. So definitely having a prison there is going to help us out. Yeah, so that's something I want to get going. And then also, I want to get a hospital as well. Now, that's maybe not as high a priority, because we can treat people in the current beds that we have and do a fairly decent job. Plus, at the moment, we do not have the technology to make hospital beds. So, doing an actual hospital, we won't get that much improvement in our actual treatment quality as to what we have currently. The only things that really affect treatment quality is, well, obviously having a hospital bed, having like vitals monitors and that sort of thing does help. But some other things that help is like the cleanliness of the room and just the general quality of the room. So having something like a sterile floor in there is obviously going to help you as well. But yeah, definitely having the room clean affects treatment quality for obvious reasons. You know, a medical area should be clean. And also having it be well lit so that the doctor can actually see what he's doing. So actually, if I look at the room that Vlad's in right now, we may convert that into a temporary hospital. So make that a medical bed and have, I think it's Baffin who's sleeping in there, have him sleep somewhere else. Yeah, that'll make a decent temporary hospital. It has a light in there. We can, you know, make sure that it gets cleaned. So we've got some uranium that's dropped there for us. That's good. We can probably use that for something. Yeah, I'm not sure what uranium's used for exactly. Probably it's used in some of the like spaceshipy type stuff. Yeah, I've never actually built the spaceship in this game. When I get to the end game, I don't really feel the urge to leave. Like, you know, I want to like do end game stuff and have a cool base rather than just take off and leave the planet. You can see we've got a notification there to tell us that we've had a Muffalo self-tame. So that's going to be really good for us. I did mention in the first episode that we do want to do some of the new things that came with this alpha, like sending out caravans and that sort of thing. And the Muffalo will help with that quite a bit. So we can take the Muffalo in the caravan with us and allow us to basically carry a lot more weight with that caravan. Oh, and yes, okay, so Vlad and Tatiana are getting married. So the colonists here are gathering to celebrate the occasion, and there they are saying their vows, Vlad and Tatiana. So that is going to be fantastic. Everyone here is attending the wedding, which will give quite a significant mood boost to all of our colonists here. You can see they get plus 25 mood for effectively 10 days. So that's going to be great. And the newlyweds, they get plus 70 for pretty well 2 seasons there. You can see 1 season, 14 days. They get honeymoon phase, which is plus 20, and just got married or recently married, which is plus 50. So Vlad and Tatiana are going to be really happy for the next decent while. You can see Vlad's mood there is completely maxed out, so that's fantastic. That will yeah, definitely, we are not going to have any mood problems that are with Vlad. So that's good. And then, you know, by the time that marriage stuff has worn off, hopefully we've made his bedroom to his satisfaction. One of our coolers broke down. Someone will fix that, I'm sure. That's fine. And we're getting our second greenhouse happening here. So at the moment we have 7 colonists, and I think probably the one greenhouse is enough to feed our 7 colonists and produce a little bit of surplus. But definitely having a second greenhouse here is going to be good for us, and we'll future-proof things a bit more, which is nice. Yeah, probably not sure what I get in there. Probably some more food and definitely getting some more money crops. Actually, if I look, we do need more cotton. So yeah, I should put some more cotton in there. I might generally talk about some of the mods that I'm using. So I have mentioned some of the mods that I have installed here, like the Unforbid tool. I'm pretty sure I've talked about that. But just generally, I'm not using any mods that really change gameplay in any kind of significant way. In fact, none of the mods make any real changes to the gameplay or the mechanics. I've just got a little bit of stuff that adds extra things, like some extra furniture. I have like one of the more furniture mods, which adds some different furniture, as well as you can make like countertops and stuff, which is cool to make like a bar or something like that. Yeah, what else do I have? I have like, well, obviously the hauling bots and stuff, I've talked about that. I think I talked about the, like, I Can Fix It mod or something. I think it's called something like that, where basically if one of our walls gets knocked down, or anything gets knocked down really, it will automatically queue a new blueprint to be replaced in the same spot. So that's really handy as well. Dicta here is going to grab some steel. This is of course our siege that we dealt with. And we've finished carpet making. That's good. Yeah, we've done quite a few. We've done quite a few of the early technologies. Even some of the more expensive early technologies. Like I think we have, yeah, we have both smithing and machining done. So yeah, actually when we get our crafting room up and going, I think I want to start maybe focusing as one of the first things we do is maybe starting to smith some weapons. If I think maybe Cave still has a no, he doesn't. I've just clicked on him there and he doesn't have a I was going to say he might have a longbow still, but he does. He's got the heavy SMG there. But still, some of the weapons that we have, we can definitely start looking at replacing. Like we have someone with a pistol still, which is obviously a fairly early low-tier weapon. So we should probably look at upgrading a bit of that. And some of our guys, well, I don't have, there's no notification there for a hunter lacking a ranged weapon. So theoretically, everyone is armed, which is good. Yeah, and we're selling to a trader here, combat supplier, and getting rid of 55 smoke leaf joints, which is netting us like 500 silver there. That is fantastic. So we have plenty of money, and as soon as a trader with a hauling bot comes along, which spoiler alert, I think that does happen in this episode at some stage. So when that comes along, we're going to be able to pick up a hauling bot and get that going for us, which is going to be excellent. If I look at the battery there, you can see our battery is like completely full, which tells me we're probably generating a little bit of an excess in power. Now that is normally not a problem if we were running like wind power or solar powered generators, but because we are using just exclusively fueled generators, having an excess is actually not so great, because if a fueled generator is running, whether the power from it is being used or not, it's still going to consume fuel. So by having an excess of power, we're actually wasting some of our fuel. So maybe not the most efficient thing ever going on there. So yeah, I think the next time I load the game, I may just look at flicking off a few of those generators, and we'll just see if we can work out a sweet spot for our current power requirements. And then, later on we can flick them back on as we need it. It's also the 14th of winter, so we are almost through the winter here. So once we get out of winter and some of the snow starts clearing away, our power needs will drop significantly. Alright, so we're getting our second greenhouse, getting everything done in there, the heaters and the sun lamp there, getting the power hooked up. Yeah, and I think also, so yeah, here I am deciding to join these two greenhouses together. So the idea is here that I'll seal this little area up between the two, and then I am going to deconstruct the walls between them so that they are sharing heat. And that way, hopefully we'll be able to run maybe, probably 3 heaters, I would imagine, between these 2 greenhouses. I know I can get away with 2 heaters in this setup, but only if it's very well insulated. And at the moment, this is only single wall. There is no like heat trap going on there, like airlock basically for our doors. So probably it will need 3 heaters because it's probably leaking a bit of heat there. And you know, it's not really worth our time to double wall it currently. Getting some more of our limestone there hauled. And we have a mad animal, looks like a squirrel, which is no problem. Yeah, we haven't had any dangerous predators show up. So whenever something does go mad, there's nothing on the map that can really be an issue for us. Get some more of that steel mined out, that's good. Yeah, I think I'm about to notice that there is a slight issue with our little defensive setup there. You can see we've actually left that little side passage that I put there so that we can fire into the trap area there. I haven't actually doored that off, so if we were to get like a raid at the moment, people could actually just walk like straight into our base without actually having to like bash a door down or something. So that's maybe not the best. Yeah, so we're getting that sealed up now. Good. Yeah, but I don't know if that actually would have been too much of an issue for us. Because if someone had attacked through there, they still would have had to go through our traps, which is our only current defenses. So they would have just gone through the traps and then probably come up here where we could just hopefully take them out like we did with that squirrel there. Wolf just repairing some of the walls that they probably shot. Yes, and we get an infestation here. So basically the game is thinking that we are in like that we have an underground area in our base, which we don't really. It's just that some of this area is flagged as a home zone, so it kind of thinks that that we're living in there, kind of thing. When you get an infestation spawn in a very open area like this, it is pretty easy to deal with. So what we're going to do is we're just going to basically like kite these guys in and out, because you'll see here in a minute the way their like behavior kind of works. So we'll go and aggro as many of them as decide to aggro, and they're going to chase us out here. And then when they start getting a bit close, we're just going to back up here, and these guys will follow us for a little bit, and then they'll decide to head back to their nest because they don't like to stray too far from their nest. And it seems as soon as they decide to go back to their nest, they won't re-aggress until they actually finish that I'm returning to my nest behavior. Yeah, so that makes it fairly easy to deal with these guys when they spawn in an open area. You know, be that outside like here, or in a big open area in an underground base. Yeah, the only time I do have issues really with infestations is when they basically like spawn in someone's bedroom while they're asleep, and you know, someone just wakes up to having, you know, 10 giant insects in their room and basically they get eaten alive, which is not great. Alright, we're cleaning this up here, so getting rid of this last of the larger mega spiders. Yeah, we'll get some stuff out of this here. we'll be able to butcher these insects up and feed the meat to our dogs. The colonists can eat the meat, but they don't like it. So if they eat insect meat, they won't get sick or anything, but they will get like a negative mood buff, because obviously no one wants to, you know, eat insect. Alrighty, that is dealt with. We have killed off all of them here. So unrecruiting everyone. Very good. Very good. Ah, yes, and another thing that you do want to make sure that you do is when you do kill these guys off, that you destroy their actual nests here. So I'm just getting our melee character to go and bash those down. If you don't kill those off, then it might spawn like new insects. So, you know, make sure you get rid of those. Awesome, and here we have a trader who has a hauling bot. So we are grabbing a hauling bot, and we're going to get that going. That's going to be fantastic for us. Yep, selling off some of these dead man's apparel. Oh, and this trader has a Glitter World med as well. Hopefully I pick that up. Do we get that? No. Go back up. Go back up. Yeah, anytime I see a Glitter World med, like, I normally want to actually pick it up, because anytime we do a surgery, looks like we're not going to get that. Oh well. Missing out on a Glitter World med there, which is not 100% ideal, but there'll be others, we hope. Yeah, anytime I see a Glitter World med, I want to get it, because if I do a surgery, I want to use a Glitter World med pretty much any time, unless I'm operating on like a prisoner or something, which I maybe don't care about as much. But yeah, surgeries that you want to succeed, use a Glitter World med. If you don't, then even with like the highest skilled doctor in the most advanced hospital, you can still, like, I find probably like 10 or 15% of your surgeries will still fail. You know, be that just a minor failure or something a little bit worse. Okay, we're getting that hauling bot installed there. So that's going to be fantastic for our base. And our spring has begun. So we have gotten through our first winter here, which is fantastic. It's the first of spring. So yeah, that's we've dealt with that fairly well. Didn't really have too many issues there. We are deconstructing the walls between the two greenhouses there, so they will start sharing some heat. Yeah, and we're going to set up our grow zones inside of our greenhouse here. How are we doing for food? So we have 6 meals currently. I feel like that's probably dropped throughout the course of this episode. I think we did start the episode with a few more. So I may need to look there at, like, we have lots of raw food. You can see we have 1,700 raw food. But I just might need to look at our work priorities. We maybe don't have both of the cooks going at the moment. Of course, at the moment, the dogs are eating our prepared meals, which at some point I want to get some actual like kibble being produced for them. And what I'm going to do with the dogs, and what I generally like to do with my dogs, which I think is a bit funny, is basically you... so in the second episode or something, we recruited Natsuki, who is of course a psychopath. And what we can do with a psychopath is, as I mentioned, we can butcher humans. So what we'll do is people who attack us, we will butcher them up and feed them to our dogs. You know, which I think is pretty hilarious, and also like a good use, I guess, of that resource. So, you know, you could think of that as a resource, and it does, of course, save plenty of our actual food for our colonists. Yeah, to do that, I will have to make a separate area to butcher the humans up. Not that, like, so there's no, like, hygiene reason that you can't have it in your normal kitchen. You could perfectly fine butcher human flesh in there and you know, do all of that, but then I'd be keeping corpses in my ordinary freezer, which means anytime someone walks in there, they're going to observe a corpse, which people don't like to do. So if they see a corpse, they, you know, get a negative mood buff, and yeah, that won't be ideal. Could affect people's moods to, you know, in a way that we can't really deal with. So I will get like a separate freezer for our human meat. And of course, by butchering people, we will get human leather, which we can make some pretty fancy clothing with that we can sell for a decent amount of money. Okay, we're getting some smoke leaf in our greenhouse there. So what did we put in here? Might have missed the other ones. We've got smoke leaf there, we've got hay grass there. Okay, it looks like rice is going in and cotton there. So yes, getting a big row of cotton, which is good. And I think the other one I did was strawberry. So we've got 2 rows of food in there. We have a big row of cotton, which is excellent. And some more smoke leaf for more joints. And some hay grass for our animals. Excellent. Dicta is getting our hauling bot installed. There we go. We have a hauling bot. And that is activated. Excellent. So he's going and grabbing a insect corpse there. Fantastic. We're going to have plenty of hauling happening in the base here. So I think when I next load the game, I should probably switch Baffin off of the hauling duty and probably put him on a high priority clean, because we currently have not a lot of cleaning going on. You can see there's, or when I close the research screen here, you'll see there's a lot of like vomit around everywhere and stuff that hasn't been cleaned up. That looks like we're moving this bed so that we can put a high-tech research bench into this room. So getting our simple research bench deconstructed there, and we'll get the high-tech one going so that we can get some more of these advanced technologies happening. So that will be good for us. Moving this light. Yeah, our research is it's in a pretty decent spot. Awful quality chair there. Get that deconstructed. Dicta's construction skill should be fairly good now. He should at least be at a 10, maybe 11 or something. There's another poor quality chair there. But here we have an excellent quality chair, which actually counts as artwork, which is pretty damn nice. So this is Utopia. This furniture bears a representation of Vladimir Black speaking convincingly to Cavelorn Cave Hunter with smiles all around. Cave looks relieved. There is a barracuda in the distance, while the work is shaded in hues of purple and red. This depiction refers to the recruitment of Cave on the 10th of summer 5500. So that is the artwork in the game, which is it's pretty hilarious, the descriptions on the artwork. Kind of pokes a bit of fun at that sort of elitist, snobby, like, art culture, I suppose. Yeah, excellent. Dicta's getting the high-tech research bench happening there. That's going to be good. We're getting a chair put in here. Fantastic. Okay, and that's one of the mods there. We're setting the minimum build quality of that chair to be at least good quality, which Dicta should be more than capable of doing. And getting multi-analyzer queued up in the research tree there. So that'll be good. That's going to unlock a bunch of further text for us. Okay, we have a pirate merchant here. Selling off some more of those smoke leaf joints. That's excellent. And thinking of selling a Parker here, are we? We could probably sell our Parkers, seeing as we are through the winter now. So it's -7 outdoors. Yeah, it's not really Parker weather. We could probably get away with dusters and jackets now. That's something I should look at doing, actually. I should craft some jackets and dusters so that we can get rid of our Parkers and not have the decreased work speed during the summer. It looks like I may be thinking of selling Camaro here. I don't think I end up actually doing that. Yeah, good. He is, of course, an industrious brawler, and he has pretty decent skills, including that 10 crafting with passion. So we do want to get him recruited, and we have already put a decent amount of resources into him, fed him quite a few meals, so probably worth our time to get something out of that. Fantastic, so that is done. And I think we are just about out of time for this episode here. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.